I think a lot of people come to the LCS and they're just like, oh, like I'm in the LCS now, I gotta play super scared. I gotta put some wards down, like I can't make any plays, better not like make mistakes. But I'm pretty set on like when I get to the LCS, I don't want to have like regrets when I play. And I think a lot of people have, like, especially from NA Challenger, they've come to the LCS and they've played so scared, and I like look at that and I'm just like, I don't want to do that, So I just really want to be aggressive, I guess, keep my aggressive play style that I've always had. So yeah.
Certainly strong words there from Arcadian. Welcome back, everyone, for Game 2 as these new squads have to answer one question. Can P1 maintain the momentum into Game 2, or Echo Fox going to find their way back in? For me, Echo Fox, right idea, as always. Strong players, individual talent looks there, but team play looking better from last year, but not quite there yet.
Yeah, and like, how does that game look if those first 2 kills go over to Froggen instead of Arcadian, and then he has a little bit more of a lane advantage, right? And then that ends up like getting him a power spike a little bit sooner. Can he punish Ryu? So right now, Echo Fox, though, they did have an advantage. They weren't able to push it. They weren't able to utilize it. And I think a lot of that has to come from Looper in the top lane. He does need to step up here. And we saw some teleport plays not work out. That fight that they went over at the analyst desk that ended up with the score lines being even afterwards. A lot of that was Looper comes in. No like flash used there and no ultimate used there when he had the chance to do so.
Yeah, and again, a lot of those things are longer term things for Echo Fox. You don't just, after one game, suddenly have amazing team chemistry and synergy. These things do take time to build up, and I think shot calling felt like more of an issue there in that game. So it will take time, but every single game you need to be refocusing on these things and thinking how you can improve them.
Exactly. It's like, what do we play around? What is our objective at all times? And so Echo Fox, they have struggled with leadership a little bit. Froggen talked about it last year when he was saying Rick Fox is being a little bit of a leader for him and empowering him with these qualities. Now they have new members on the squad, mixed language team on top of it, and they have a rookie as well who does have a lot of control in the early game. So I think Arcadian, it'd be best suited if he gets a little bit more in that shot calling role and has those great plays that he could just see them coming, because he was what started the turnaround from P1. He was the one who was aggressive, and there was a turnaround on him. So maybe a little bit more time, he can identify those situations where it is the time to make a play.
Maybe, but I think the analyst has also pointed out that draft is something that could also be cleaned up here as well. So we'll see what happens in our second champ select of this series. Ryze and Kennen found out from P1 once more. Looks like Loop is not getting that one anytime soon, and Camille and LeBlanc banned out on the other side also. So pretty standard stuff so far. Echo Fox clearly respecting the power of LeBlanc, first picking it and now banning it away. And Phoenix One, what's the last ban? It is Malzahar for the first phase.
All right, no Ashe ban here from Phoenix One. This leaves Ryze on the table as well as the Zyra, but there's also the Kha'Zix on top of that. So see what happens here.
Rengar being banned, of course, so Inori not going to get that one again. I feel Echo Fox like, you know what?
Yeah.
We can try this once. We're not going to try it again. And P1 says, don't worry, plenty more carry junglers in the pocket as Inori pulls out Kha'Zix.
Yeah, I know that the feeling right now is Rengar is the S tier or the God tier, and then right below for carry junglers, it's Kha'Zix. And some people will say that he's a very good matchup against Lee Sin, who is right next to him in the tier list. So goes right down the tier list. Doesn't care that Malzahar is banned. Doesn't go for the Zyra, right? Still on the table, which I would expect to be picked up by Echo Fox unless they fear a Misfortune pick as the counter.
Well, they've got 2 picks to make here, and Ashe was banned last game, so they will take Ashe as their first of 2 picks here. And like you said, there's kind of a lot open here. Zyra's the obvious pick, especially to pair with the Ashe lane, but we'll see what Echo Fox do want to take for themselves.
An Ashe Zyra lane would be quite powerful, but if you do expect there to be a counter in the Misfortune, you have to wait on it a little bit there. Or if you think that the jungle might get pinched in the second round, then you take it now.
Yeah, pretty safe pick there on Rek'Sai as well. You mentioned Lee Sin as being one of those other strong junglers. Rek'Sai pretty close to that top of the pile as well. So Arcadian had a good looking game there in the first one, takes the comfort back in the game 2.
It's definitely not a Rek'Sai favorable matchup, of course. A lot of pressure coming in from the Kha'Zix. And right here, yes, with Ashe off the table, the Varus falls into Arrow's hands again. Actually, Omits going for the Jhin, thinks that this might be a little bit more powerful here in the situation. And I don't blame him. I think that up against the Ashe, it is quite a good pick to have.
Well, we'll see what else they do take here. Phoenix One considering Malphite. Great game 1 there on the Malphite and very safe standard pick, so they will lock it in for themselves. Echo Fox, though, have been given the chance to take away something quite good here. Zyra, again, screams to be the obvious pick. We know Gabe plays it. He was playing it last season, so We'll see if they do want to take it or if they have something else in mind. Because remember, the second phase of bannings will change a lot moving into the last 4 picks. So Echo Fox need to be very careful with how they proceed. And that's Anivia for Froggen.
Countdown is still going down, though. So...
yeah, for the ban. There's a ban that comes, so that's Anivia locked in for Froggen.
You're right. It got me. It got me. So yeah, it is locked in 100%. Get excited. Okay, sorry. I ruined the hype.
And now they banned Syndra, which I think makes sense, because if there's one matchup you don't want to run yourself into, it's probably Syndra, isn't it, Anivia?
Quite the good matchup there. And then now they're just going to go back and forth here. It looks like a pinch on the support pool. Don't want to see that get picked up next. It'd be so hard to actually engage on an Anivia with a Zyra, so it's a good takeaway there. And now Phoenix One, what does Ryu have to play into the Anivia? I'm sure that Froggen knows most of the matchups back and forwards, I guess. Backwards and forwards. There you go.
And there's Cassiopeia. Froggen's like, take out all these good champions, give me Anivia. Certainly had wonderful performances on it all year long, really, last year. And of course, it is the trademark pick for Froggen himself. Phoenix One, though. What does the other ban look like? Do they continue banning away supports? We saw Karma as a takeaway in the last game, so perhaps they take that here. Rumble, actually, another good champion for Looper, so kind of trying to get at his champion pool a bit, and it's great into Maokai, so Zig, I think, being more unable to succeed once again in the top lane. And I actually really like that last ban from Phoenix One. It serves multiple purposes here in the draft.
Yeah. Also focuses, it forces him onto something else, and there you go. The Singed for Looper in the top lane. It has been played into Maokai multiple times now over in the LCK. It is considered by a lot of the Korean top laners a really good pick because Maokai just can't deal with it. Singed causes pressure by just shoving the wave incredibly easily, has the option to proxy, and hey, he's not bad at actually setting up ganks either.
No, certainly not. I mean, team fighting certainly favors Maokai as far as that pick goes, as Orianna is going to be the lock-in there for Ryu, so he'll just take the nice, safe, straightforward mid laner for himself. And what's the last pick here for P1? We saw Karma ban in the last game, so maybe Adrian's going to pick it up, and he does lock it in. Phoenix One now done with their draft. Is there anything fun left for Echo Fox here for the final pick?
Nothing fun left. No.
Damn.
I mean,
it's
they
just
could
funny.
surprise us.
We have 2 trademark champions that actually seem quite good here in both Anivia and Singed for Froggen and Looper, respectively.
And now they have to go down for apparently support here. Unless that's Singed support. And nope. Unlucky. Teammates don't want him to play it.
No, not yet. There's Gate actually on the Thresh, which was also banned in the last game.
Yep.
So the 2 supports that were banned in the last one are going to get taken here. Zyra was smartly banned away from Phoenix One, and kind of looking down the draft, I think Echo Fox have done a little bit more maneuvering here as far as their picks go. Singed, of course, is a champion that we haven't seen too much of, but seen a little bit, particularly with all the tanks. Froggen going to be very solid on the Anivia, but it's not a standout mid lane pick. On the other side, though, Phoenix One have really just drafted as best they can given the opportunities, and I think had some very smart phase 2 picks and bans as well.
Yeah, Echo Fox has a lot of disruption here in the middle of a team fight, but if they botch their engage, it is borderline impossible to re-engage and get back onto Arrow, because the Singed has to run through everything. The Anivia would have to get like a really good wall. You'd have to land a hook or an arrow, but if the Karma is able to speed him up, it's going to be so hard to catch him with an Orianna on top of that too. And then you have the Maokai for peel. So whoever gets an advantage and you get to play back and then the enemy has to siege into you, then you kind of have an advantage with both these team compositions.
And again, it feels like if we are going to get the same style of pretty fast-paced, kill-heavy League of Legends, it is just going to be the team coordination that will bring them all together. I wonder if Looper maybe has a different opportunity now, because again, the teleports for team fighting weren't working out as well. Singed isn't quite all the way to Shen as far as split pushing goes, but plays much more like a split pushing top lane tank than a traditional team fighting tank.
Absolutely. I mean, Looper, little bit of a hiccup there last game with joining the team fights and all that. So now just play Singed, go proxy waves, go have fun. They have nothing to do with the team. Don't bring them towards us at all, and we'll be good to go.
We tried the teamwork thing, didn't work out. We're going to try the opposite as we are onto the roof for game number 2. Phoenix One up 1 here in the series, so a win here will secure them a sweep and a win in the first week of the LCS here. But it looks like something pretty fun here for Echo Fox.
Yeah,
They're going to move out as 5 towards the bottom lane.
they have the Q already
leveled
ranked
up. He's ready.
Yep, ranked up Q for Froggen, looking for a pick here in the bottom side of the map.
I just love the panache. Looper, of course, with his own skin. And Adrian, he's in trouble. He does get away to safely. Gonna put a ward down. That's an ambitious Q. Ward goes down. So first CS goes to Froggen, the CS master.
And Arrow goes back into the...
He's like, gonna check it out. Oh!
Another one!
Got it again!
Ooh.
Froggen's very good at this game.
I mean, they're going to run out of wards at this rate. Gotta put them down before they get there. There you go.
You can see wards being answered on the other side as well for P1, and they will spot Echo Fox moving out. So no one's getting caught there. Nice kind of smart spread out from Phoenix One.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Inori, he goes and he wards the red buff to make sure that, if Acadian starts on that side, which is the side that you usually start on as the Rek'Sai, so you don't bring your bottom lane to come leash for you, or I mean, you'd be even starting on Wolves or Blue, which isn't that great for Rek'Sai. You usually want that red immediately. And Acadian, quite conscious of the fact that there could be a ward there, so he just is waiting until the last moment.
And no help, actually, by the looks of things either. Usually sees some
Classic
Lupus for the
Singe.
junglers. That's true, he's busy. Lupus got work to do. He's already running towards the wave. As Gate hanging out, bit of harass down. Oh, nice playback as well. Certainly practice on the champion, so bit of early harass isn't too bad, but we'll start playing the lane out as per normal now. Looks like this time P1 certainly looking much better as far as the early push goes. Gate really sacrificed a lot of his health on the time catch last game to make sure that didn't happen. This time around they'll have a bit more pressure as Froggen, still level 1, has taken damage already from Ryu. Bit of extra ball damage there as well from the command attack. Orianna, always a tough laner to go up against, but like you said, Froggen, he knows every mid lane matchup with Anivia.
Yeah, he would assume so. He's been playing it for years, and into Orianna, it's kind of like a classic. We're going back
We're going very far back.
like 3+ seasons at this point. Now, Looper does have the shove advantage right now into Zig. He got to the lane a little bit sooner. We'll see if he goes for the Dark Seal build, the multiple Dark Seal build.
Very nice from Froggen. Throws out a bunch of Qs, finally lands one, and that's going to be good damage onto Ryu, but once again, still pushing things through. This looks like P1 win starting to surge. You can hear some non-believing Echo Fox fans in the crowd. As Inori going to make his way towards this right side Scuttle Crab. Take that one down, get some control towards the bottom lane. Acadian's here as well, so could maybe see some action here. It looks like both junglers trying to cover a potential 3-on-3. Again, Inori kind of hanging around, seeing where he can get Acadian actually back up, and has been spotted by the looks of things. So Inori going to try and find him, perhaps. See if he can't get some damage down. Acadian a little low. Inori, what did he slice the big wolf? That is rude.
Stole it. Oh, almost got that too.
That would have been wonderful. Fucking a little low on health as well, so Orianna could also have made her way through.
Exactly, and that's the big thing is Ryu had shove advantage. That synergy between Inori and Ryu seems to be alive and well right now and doing quite good. So he was able to shove up. He knew that Ryu would be able to reinforce first. Froggen chunked out. He does have teleport though on the Anivia, so it will be quite easy for him to get back to the lane.
Really nice looking hook there for Gabe. It doesn't quite connect onto Adrian. And looks like the push has continued here for the Karma Varus, which I think we expect 2-on-2 here. Keitho will just collect once he can. Should be just fine on Ashe. We've seen Ashe arrows already today have such a big impact in the mid to late game. Keith, I'm sure, has sharpened up those sniper skills as well. As Acadian doing a little bit of counter jungling while he can. After his wolf is taken by Inori, he's going to go ahead and take the wolf camp away from him.
It's an interesting thought as well, like just thinking about how the draft went out and going back to that. The Anivia was picked before the second ban phase. If you expect the enemies to ban Anivia, there might be a better or more optimal pick there for them to go after on Echo Fox's side in that third place slot and wait on picking the Anivia so you know what it's into. But that's Froggen saying, I want to help my team. I want you guys to have the counter picks, or I want you to have a better idea of what you're going up against. I will play Anivia into anything.
And that's actually one of a great highlight in draft, although I think we might have to stop that thought for now as Inori's popped himself over the wall. Luther blocked down by Zig, and this looks like first blood, potentially Acadian shadowing around his own, and Inori commits for it. Now Acadian gonna move his way back through. Damage is there, that's gonna force the flash from Kha'Zix. And now Zig still getting chased down. Acadian wants it, he's got the flash. Inori doesn't have his, so another Pro Seek is gonna do it. He's gonna keep chasing in, he sees and he flashes it, looks for the auto, and there's the first blood.
Acadian again, both games, first blood for the rookie on Echo Fox.
Rookies are doing well.
Yeah. NA junglers, NA talent.
NA talent's looking good. Acadian once again picks up the first blood.
Yep, and then Looper comes back, triple Dark Seals. So the Dark Seal, the increase on the potions by 25% actually stacks, so he's getting 175% of potion efficiency out of that, and it's worth a lot. Froggen does have egg though, he does have egg.
That's huge, though, to have to save it.
Yeah.
Froggen even wants fuck. This is safe, right? This is totally fine, guys. I mean, it's a cannon wave, so he doesn't really want to move away from it. I love this. This is very Froggen. Level 6.
Ah, there we go.
There's
Waiting on
Acadian
level
covering
6.
as well.
And good by Acadian to actually come through and give Froggen a better back here. Ryu will walk up, maybe place the ball for a distortion. Yeah. Place it a little bit closer.
Fine for Froggen, though, I think.
Yep.
Wasting a bit of Ryu's time.
Well, he does lose more minions to the turret while he's backing then. He will pick up experience for them, but
It's
it's a fake!
It's all a ruse, Irene! Gonna take these two, and now he knows that Ryu's backed off. He has some teleport as well, so he kind of can come back at his leisure.
Bam.
And does Ryu stay? That's so rude! That's blind.
That's blind. Yeah. All right, Froggen. Oh, I see you.
He's in his head now.
All right.
Ryu's like, man, I got ganked twice last game. Now Froggen's reading my mind.
Yeah, and now it's really risky to stay here because if the Rek'Sai just shows up and now Froggen TPing back in, doesn't get to clear out the whole wave, and he'll miss out on 2 minions there, whereas the teleport will allow Froggen to pick these ones up
He's
himself.
pulling the wave as well, so Froggen is really kind of putting his foot down in this lane. In the meantime, Adrian poking down back on Keith's arrow. Adrian still looking good here. Lantern out is nice. Arrow looks for the poke. Keith just barely misses out on a Q to the face. And Looper, here's the flippy. And Zig's like, he's not happy about what's going on here. I mean, he might not die, but what are you supposed to do against triple Dark Seal Corrupting Potion Sin?
It's the triple Dark Seal. No points in W here as well. Just going for straight damage to clear the minion wave and flipping. And also shoving the wave to possibly set up a gank here. We'll see. It's hard to gank a Maokai with Flash, but we'll see right here.
Looks like a proxy, but it could just be a gank. Arcadian gonna try and make it happen. Looper moves his way out, takes one more tower, and it gets a kill!
Oh, and those Dark Seals, 2 across the board. Extra AP for the Singed in the top lane. These are actually such efficient buys as well, because the passive isn't unique, like I said previously. It increases the amount of HP you're getting from the Corrupting Potion. So you're basically thinking in the equation that every stack of Corrupting Potion will give me this much more HP times 3. So you treat it almost like, oh, he's getting a bonus Ruby Crystal on top of that, a Ruby Crystal and a half. And it gives him mana. And Singed passive gives him HP for buying mana. So it's even more on top of that. So Singed is actually quite tanky with just buying these 3 rings that don't have any HP on them innately.
And realistically, what's Zig gonna do? Like, he's a Maokai. This is why people pick Singed into the tank matchups, because they know they can just run around freely. And I like the build from Luke because, like you said, he's just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, and also like it is important to note that all those 2s are just for show.
Just for one.
Yeah, you only get one.
Get.
That's unique, of course. But also on top of it is the sell price of Dark Seals. Only about, I believe, 100 gold less than the buying price. So when you resell it, you actually don't miss out on a lot at all.
That's
It
good
helps
value.
ramp up.
That's what that is. This Kate's looking for a hook here. Adrian now can't be seen. That one's gonna miss, but Froggen's in. Looking for arrow damages there. Does proc the Thunderlords, and there's the arrow in. That one's gonna miss as well. Skill shots all going awry here for Echo Fox's bottom lane, but Froggen ahead in CS, got the early mana items, is starting to push in and roam down towards the bottom lane. Looper playing aggressively and proxying and now moving towards the mid lane. This is kind of what we expected from the top trio for Echo Fox, and this game seems like a much better execution of that plan.
Absolutely, and now that they have an advantage, and it's in the jungle, right? Again, and now it's towards the top lane, so it's not that mid lane, but the mid lane is holding on. There's a teleport for Froggen, so he can kind of just sit around and do what he wants. But this is Looper, hey, hanging out behind your turret, and now Maokai can actually counter proxy and just kind of sit by this turret. Not the same way that Singed does, but gives him a lot of presence.
Nice hook there, Flay not going to connect, but Gate didn't want to commit following the Q in. Again, it's just all poke at this point. Arrow is perfectly fine, actually up in CS with a very slight item advantage.
Yeah,
the dagger.
It's a good lane advantage as well, just in terms of matchup. But hold on, Gate flashing
Gate's
forward.
Fox there as well. He's low, but they know Arcadian's coming. Arrow, who's going to move in as hook onto Adrian. Teleport's coming in, but Looper, he's there first this time. Arrow, now going to get locked down. Arcadian's going to try and take him out. They will get one, and now Looper once more. Ziggo is joining in as he's going to lock up Looper. Looper, not that tanky. He's going to get taken down. Arcadian gets out from under the tether, and it's a 1-for-1.
Yep, the 1-for-1 trade there. No teleport available for Froggen, and nobody had really advantage in the mid lane until Ryu just now, because he blew the ultimate to try and start a fight with Froggen to prevent him from roaming as well. And now, even though it seems to be even in numbers and Gate now walking back himself, it's going to be a little bit of a push to the turret there. Favor Phoenix 1.
Yeah, make sure he pushes all the way in. Bit of extra chip damage there will be nice for later. And like you mentioned, Ryu, looking pretty healthy, committed the ulti for just another bit of harass here. But Froggen, particularly without his teleport, wasn't doing too much as we'll watch this particular engage again.
Yeah, Gate took so much damage trying to engage this. The flash, exhaust, and then the hook hits Adrian because Arrow flashes out of the way. But it still ends up with a kill onto Arrow. And then Zig TP's in, zones them away so that they can pick up Looper. So the Ashe doesn't get much more of the fight afterwards.
Certainly nice to see Looper much faster on the teleport trigger this time, but stayed a little too long, got himself killed. Does have a catalyst now though, so it's going to be even more annoying.
Yeah, very good call there on the fact that Looper was able to pull the trigger a lot faster than Zig in that top lane. He has the lane shove advantage, so every time he proxies 2 waves and he's in between your tier 1 and tier 2 turrets, it's a little bit less safe for Maokai to do that and actually go that far up. So when you actually leave, Looper may have cleared out another minion wave, and so Zig will slowly fall behind in CS because of this.
And now Fox, you can see, roaming again towards the bottom half of the map. Hits arrows back up. They're going to clear this control ward out of the way. They've got a Drake that they can try and get for themselves as well. It's a Cloud Drake, so not rushing straight towards it, but it is nice to see Froggen pushing out his waves more effectively, staying up slightly on CS, which isn't too bad, but trying to affect another part of the map while Looper has just complete control of the top half of the map. And you know, they're not getting kills for Keith just yet, but they're probably keeping Arrow and Adrian busy, and Arrow is a player that we do expect from Phoenix One to really make things happen. And both Inori and Arrow and Ryu as well, but has not been able to get anything going here. So Echo Fox are doing a nice job getting themselves ahead safely, but also stifling P1's plan.
Yeah, it's much better this game than it was in the last one. They had an early game advantage previously. Also off the back of Acadian, who still has 100 kill participation right now, 100%. Now it looks like he's ganking top lane. Yeah, the Maokai has to push up because he wants to catch the wave here, and they're throwing 3 people at Zig.
So the trap here flips. He's going to land in. Zig's going to flash Arcadian, follows for the knock-up. There's a knockback there for Zig, but Froggen's going to try and cut him off. He's got the flash. They might just dive. Looper going to start taking up the turret. Damage is starting to come in. Great wall from Froggen. Zig dodges the first even. The stun's going to move, and he gets flipped again. And that's an easy kill. Froggen this time gets it.
And they don't get much on the other side of the map for Phoenix One. They have to shove in mid lane and bottom side, and there wasn't any really buffs up here for Inori to take. He just gets wards on the bottom side. And that's going to be another kill going over to Echo Fox off of the back of Acadian making a play. This time Froggen gets the kill on top.
Yeah, able to teleport in this time. Going to take some damage. His turret also under siege, but he's got his Rod of Ages now, so Anivia is going to really start scaling up now that the mana items are ticking up and stacking. And again, bottom lane pressure is nice here from P1. Looks like they will actually get the turret here.
There we go.
Collect that first turret goal. So Fox doing the right things here, kind of putting power where we expected it to be, and I think Keith and Gate, particularly on Ashe and Thresh, are fine to fall a little bit behind here. Although Arrow does have a pretty significant CS lead right now, at least the turret's being equalized by Looper as he does get the top turret for himself.
And the Singe seems to be a great pick for him. I remember played it back at Season 4 Worlds. Everyone's like, what is this guy doing? Has the skin for it, like you said. But that's going to be P1 getting themselves a Cloud Drake.
The advantage of playing to the bottom side of the map is that you get the Drake, so pretty easy pickup, but it didn't seem like Echo Fox were too worried about not getting it.
Zig going after Acadian, trying to stop him from taking the jungle, but still he's going to pick that one up. And Looper 2 levels up right now over Zig and has the Righteous Glory completed. This has become a core item on Singe. You go for the Dark Seal build into, not the Roa, but into the Righteous Glory to speed yourself up, flip somebody into your team. I was talking about Echo Fox. If they botch the engage, it's hard for them to continue the fight. But I mean, it's so hard to mess this up. You run straight at them, you're NASCAR.
Yeah.
That way, you are NASCAR Sid.
Like we said, Maokai and Singe do not have equal weights on team fights. As is a dive. Arrow's going to miss as Keith flashes it. Nice arrow onto Inori, but dive still in. Adrian gets the kill this time. P1 even going to commit the teleport. Might try for a push here as Loopers also win. It's 2v4 escape. Hooks dig in towards the turret. He gets played back in, and now he gets flipped back. So far towards the turret as Ryu's trying to save his teammate Zig. Tanking up to deliver the good walls there. Might actually not be enough. Great ulti there as Froggen's going to get egged. And P1's going to go move back in, but Looper plunge back in. Arcadia moves in. Bouncy Castle triple play. Going to turn it all around, and now Looper going to put down the goon, force out Ryu's flash. That was a wonderful turnaround.
Yeah, Gate with the flash and the flay, the perfect setup there. They had to protect Froggen's egg, and P1 got a little bit greedy there. They wanted to kill Froggen even though he had that egg up. We're going to see it again right here. Great flash from Keith, and then the arrow point blank onto Inori. Even though he's trying to dive him under turret, stays cool, but it causes Inori to dive a little bit far. The flip back from Looper, even though he TP'd on the other side. Gets Sig really far in there. Got to alley-ooped him. And then the flash wall. Shockwave does deal a lot of damage there, and then the Kha'Zix W and auto attack on top of it. But this right here, Gate, beautiful. Walks forward with the play, gets 3 people in it. And then the flash, and gets a flash out of that as well.
And we talked about it, Looper again, so fast to that teleport play. Picked up 5 stacks on his Dark Steel as well. Just participating, and that push from P1, bit of an overextension, punished very well by Echo Fox. We're climbing up still in that gold lead. It's not massive, but again, they were always a measured team last year. I feel like if Froggen especially is still leading it, that style of shot calling will be there. But the change seems to be not just the individual talent, but when they do want to go, they're significantly faster.
Yeah, and if you can find a lane to play to as Akaadian, where he has 100% kill participation right now, and so does Looper. Looper in the top lane has been contributing so much because he got that early help. This was the person that Akaadian decided to unlock this game. Last game it was Froggen and it didn't really work out. And now this is huge because it's 2 levels up still for this Singed, and he's bordering the point where it's really unkillable for how far ahead of the game he is right now.
Ooh, that was a nice lantern.
Gate!
Ryu, with that ulti. But Gate once again with a nice big play on Thresh.
Yeah, this Thresh was banned away from him previously. The plays have been on point. Setting up these plays, not afraid. That's the thing, is Echo Fox, you were talking about it. Last year, it seemed like hesitancy. It seemed like, all right, we have a little bit of an advantage. What do we do with it? Gate and also Akaadian seem to be really key in making these plays and being aggressive and taking the risk. They aren't really afraid of failure right now is what it looks like. They aren't afraid of flashing forward and looking dumb, like not getting a hook or something, because if you make that play work, you turn the team fight.
And maybe Akaadian and that rookie presence is bringing kind of more of that just style and just a bit more flair to their team and confidence, I think. Young players tend to be very confident, especially when they debut in the scene. Akaadian, he said he didn't want to play without regrets. He's doing that so far in the series, and the rest of his team seem to be rallying behind him. And the half of the map we expected to go well for Echo Fox is going exceptionally well this game. And despite the fact they still need to get some turrets down, they're not getting heavily out-rotated, they're not making as many silly mistakes as they might have done in Game 1, and really looking to kind of clean things up, take those turrets, and likely fight for that next big objective. Infernal Drake up in a minute 50.
Yeah, and how do you deal with the pressure of this top lane Singed? Now 3 levels up, and he's just gaining more and more of a CS advantage. So he's a large part of that pressure that they'll need in order to start getting these objectives. The Infernal Drake, like you said, in a minute and 30. How does Looper play out the map right now as they lead up to it? Because he's on the inside track to help them get this turret, whereas Arrow is in the top side shoving, and then Keith is on the bottom side shoving.
Yeah.
So,
Smart of Echo Fox to not overcommit to the mid lane without their AD carry. Looper was looking for a potential dive, but all of P1 were there to defend, so good push and pull there from both sides. Looper actually going to go back towards that top lane and keep pushing it in. Froggen, plenty of wave clear here. He's going to take down the wave very swiftly and force Ryu and Honori to stay put. And it does seem like they're just keeping control of this side of the river towards the dragon. Not too many wards placed in the area just yet, but kind of enough coverage to think that when it comes up, it's probably safe for us to take it.
and that's where Fox has their wards allocated. It's the right side towards the Infernal Drake, and the left side is rather barren for them, though. They don't have much coverage, but they have Looper on the top side of the map, and if he were to run into the Baron Pit and they were doing it, he could pop ulti and Crystal Glass, Corrupting Potion, and just run around for a bit.
Froggen has teleport as well, so I think more opportunities to make plays stretched across the map rather than having to stick to them, maybe more traditional 4-1. In the meantime, though, plenty of time to kill with 20 seconds till that Drake comes up. So Echo Fox going to see if they can't pick somebody off. They've got good pink ones on this side. That's a good hook as well onto Adrian. Keith is not following with the arrow, but they're keeping this side blind.
Looper ended up backing, sorry about that. He buys the Rylai's, selling the Dark Seal for himself, and now he's just an absolute menace. He has so much HP, even though he doesn't have much in terms of magic resistance. It looked like he had 144 armor there.
Not too shabby, and he's actually going
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. 66 armor. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, I saw it for a brief second.
No, that was the AP, actually.
I was like, where's he getting that armor? That seems ridiculous. So he's mostly a health tank, and then when he uses the ultimate, it's a regen stats tank at that point for the Singed. He doesn't usually buy those items that give him those defenses, like magic resistant armor.
Look at the current damage on the P1 carries, and they probably don't have enough to really put a dent in him as Froggen bursting down Adrian.
That's a dent.
Almost two-shots him with a bit of help from Thunderlords, but the Infernal Drake We're going to go over here to Echo Fox. Going to try and stop him, but Arrow as well. Hooked in there as Froggen's going to take him down. Ryu with a beautiful ulti going to turn around, but Froggen is going to pop this on. He's Inori.
Inori in the back.
And he's actually flanked perfectly. Froggen turned into an Aegis. Keith's going to go down. P1 again. Go off in this fight. They turn around. The Drake goes to Fox, but that means nothing. This Arcadian's shut down as well.
A huge turnaround, and the Baron is also on the table here. Looper, now he has to just push the bottom lane. He wasn't able to disrupt the fight enough, and they used so much there, but P1 come out on top, and now they're going to swing the game back into their favor.
We keep seeing it in straight up fights. P1 looking so good together. And Looper, despite the advantage in the top lane, isn't the same team fighting tank that Zig is. This Baron's going to go over to P1, and game is completely turned around now. They'll get the gold lead, they'll take the Baron. And Echo Fox, that was a hard punish for one little Drake.
Oh yeah, and that was Ryu and Inori, the synergy. Inori is flanking, Ryu gets a 3-man shockwave here, throws it there, boom, 3 people in, and Zig gets in immediately. Froggen forced to Zhonya's, and now Inori, cleanup duty, threat on the AD carry. Doesn't matter that the other people were chunked out. Your AD carry's still healthy, and Kha'Zix is right on top of him.
Arcadian gonna go down from the end there. Good protection actually on Arrow, means he didn't go down.
These are such huge threats from Inori and Ryu right now. They're just playing out of their mind from behind. They're how they got back into the game last game. Zig came down as well, but he's been shut down this game. So Ryu and Inori seem to be actually really on top of their game right now.
And he reflects there in the team fight damage. Arrow also for not dying. Did a considerable chunk as well.
Looper did a drive-by. He's just there for 310 damage. Bye, guys. It looks unwinnable. I'm out of here.
He was kind of right by that point it was, so booking it maybe not the worst thing, but this Baron's going to be tough for Echo Fox to clean out. And Nivea's got good wave clear, but there's a nice shockwave again. Arcadian almost sniped out. That's a kill. Ryu, barely enough damage. He gets himself arrowed, but he balls out there. Going to protect himself with the shields with a bit of help from Adrian as well. And with Arrow just firing high-powered Qs under these turrets as they try and protect them. This is a tough seed for Echo Fox to try and deal with, particularly this early into the game.
Oh man, I was looking at it again. It's a red buff. Froggen had a red buff, or sorry, Ryu had a red buff on him. And he just takes out Arcadian from afar. And now this siege with the Baron buff, everybody has to back up. They're pinging that there's some wards behind them that Looper could possibly TP to, but Froggen
chunked out again, Adrian hook, but that's not enough. Good big shield, and they're actually diving in for it. Teleport over the top, but they've got Gate! He's already down, and that TP is just gonna move in. Looper can't do anything as that tower falls on P1, breaks straight through the middle. Looper caught down now as well, not nearly tanking enough through that, and P1, the train's still going.
There's so much damage here between the 3 members of Inori, Ryu, and also Arrow on top of it, and they're gonna try to push here. Froggen, he does have the ultimate to just clear out. So hard to siege against Nivea, but they have the Baron buff. They have a lot of damage. Zig is tanky if he wants to tank.
Oh, Froggen, great.
Zig's gonna wait for it.
He's going for it. He got Froggen. Arrow takes him down. Arcadian gonna fall here as well. Inori straight to the backlines, ripping people to pieces. Gate can flame into the laser. No, not quite as his team protects him. And P1, they'll plow through Echo Fox. They'll take down the turrets, and they're gonna try and end this one.
Yeah, P1. Amazing performance, both from comebacks here. Game 1 and Game 2. There's one for the road, and they're going to take it.
Looper barely respawns in time to see his team get ace. The Nexus open and bare as Phoenix One sweep through Echo Fox for their first game of the year.
Oh, Nori jumps in. No fantasy for you. Crazy performance there, and you can see the sigh of relief from Phoenix One, playing from behind at the start, but their team fighting on point. They have had fights from a deficit both times to get them back into the game, and it's just off of execution. Ryu, Inori, backline threats. It's once again, feel like it'll be a lot of the same of what happened in that last game on the analyst desk, because that Orianna shockwave, just like the way that Ryu entered with Lissandra in the last game, and then Inori backline threat.
And this time around, things did look much better from Echo Fox. Top half of the map all went well. Looper crushing his lane, Froggen doing perfectly fine and getting kills and skirmishes, and also roaming to try and affect other parts of the map. All the pieces were there for things to go right for Echo Fox, but Phoenix One, there is just something about this team, at least in this series, it just felt like when they grouped, they could do no wrong in a team fight.
Yeah, they have a very good macro game, but also it seems like they are on top of their team cohesion and on top of when to pull the trigger and how to counter. And you can see the experience from these guys.
And you know what?
Coming through.
With 2 new import players, with a fresh new roster after last year, you know, they did have the boot camp together in Korea. They've had some time to gel together, but it's been, what, maybe a month? And that's a very cohesive-looking team early on in the season. Very impressive stuff from P1.
It's great when you look at a team, it's like they can play and snowball the game, but to be able to come back from a deficit, even if it's small, but an early game deficit where you are down multiple kills and your laners are suffering, that's actually a really big feat because you have to figure out how you're going to tackle the game from there. This Singe is out of control. How do we get around that? How do we circumvent that issue long enough to actually have the team fight we need? And they ended up coming out on top. Ryu deathless that game as well.
Certainly an amazing game there, but we have to look at Echo Fox. Still a solid performance. I said that, you know, fixing team synergy does not happen, you know, just overnight in a game, but they really did clean up a lot after that first game. It's always a rough road for Echo Fox, I feel like, particularly with how poorly they performed last split, but the pieces do seem to be there. I'm sure they'll work on these things, and this is just definitely a team that I think can just keep getting better week after week, assuming their attitude's right, and you have to think with Rick Fox behind them, this is a team with still plenty of potential.
Yeah, Echo Fox, of course, they made those roster moves, but like you were talking with Reggie, do they know how to use them just yet? It does take time to integrate people into the roster, to get their spirits up, to get the cohesion going, whereas P1, it does look like they've had a little bit more time to gel as a whole team, right? The boot camp coming in December, taking it very seriously from day one, and having about 8 days to scrim, but it seems to be paying off for them so far. And they were on an upward trajectory at the end of last split. Where does this actually place them in the standings?
I guess we're going to find out because it's certainly a great start here, but we are going to pass it over to the analyst desk to talk about how Phoenix One sweep the series.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Phoenix One off to the races here with a 2-0. Both of our series tonight being 2-0. They're trying to get us out of here quickly this evening. But for Phoenix One, again, it was kind of what seemed to be a greater understanding of the macro game that let them ultimately take this game over an Echo Fox that was securing a lot of kills very early on.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, great team fighting as well. You know, well, these guys still do have some bumps they have to iron out. Their team fighting was solid. You can see the individual skill really shining through for Phoenix One this game. Even up against Echo Fox on a lot of comfort picks, they still looked good. Yeah, well, you mentioned comfort picks, and then, of course, the team fighting that came along with it. Let's go ahead and look at that champion slide, because we got Looper on his championship skin in Singe. That's a comfort pick. Anivia, comfort pick there. Ashe, the more utility type ADC for Keith, and then the Thresh that was banned in the prior game against Gate. Boom, they've got a lot of picks they clearly won. Yeah, they definitely did, and Acadian gets to go back to the Rek'Sai, something that every pro jungler is going to be comfortable on, so they really did draft for comfort this time, and I think that kind of speaks to, hey, still getting some early season jitters out of the way. They're still not fully together as a team, so draft what you're comfortable with and try to go with that, and it was working out for them pretty early in the game. But I do think that's where then, of course, we saw things fall apart with the superior team fighting comp coming out of Phoenix One here. If the Orianna Shockwave hits, then, of course, it can spell disaster for that Echo Fox lineup. I want to jump to our first replay, though, which is in the the bot lane. This is going to go in favor of Echo Fox off of P1 aggression. Yeah, and I mean, they're trying to go for this dive here. Nori does get the execute, but Singed with the TP very early on that for Looper. The whole team is able to come in, and they are able to clean a lot of this up. And honestly, this is pretty aggressive for P1 going that far. Zig taking so much turret damage, and the whole team is kind of getting chunked out here. They stick around way too long. Acadian's able to get in, Gate's able to get in, landing some really nice CC there. Froggen's protected in his egg, and they're able to kind of clean up that fight. Yeah, it was a super good recovery out of Echo Fox there, but this does kind of illustrate some of the same issues that they had last year. They're able to pick up kills, and clearly within small microcosms able to operate as a team at a high level, but it is seemingly in the more strategic elements where we see things still falling apart and where Phoenix One came out on top. We're going to get back to some analysis, but before we do, we're going to toss it down to an interview with one of our winners.
Thank you very much, Dash. I am here with Inori, one of the returning members of Phoenix One. Congratulations, first of all, on the 2-0.
Well, thank you.
All right, so I want to talk to you about the new lineup coming together, right? Phoenix One had a very rough start to summer. You weren't even allowed in the lineup for a little while. You finally come in. You sort of barely avoid relegation. Now you're back at full power at the very start. So now, rising from the ashes, how high is Phoenix One going to go?
I mean, I think the finals are in Vancouver, and that's like my hometown. So, like, my goal right now is just to go to the finals. So I think P1 can go to the finals, because I really hope we can go to the finals. I think we're a good team, and I think we're going to keep improving.
So speaking of being a good team, we had an interview earlier on with TSM's owner Reginald, and he said basically that he doesn't really believe in importing a bunch of Koreans, that, you know, playing a mixed language team is very difficult. He called out Team Dignitas as being a bottom 5 team because of this. What's your experience been like playing with Aero and Ryu, 2 Korean players, and how that gelling has kind of gone?
I think the game is shifting into like a big team and like team synergy thing. So I definitely think communication is a huge part. That's why I think when you're importing Koreans, you have to find ones that actually know some English. Like not knowing the basic like terminology is a big thing. So I think we got lucky because Ryu went to EU for 2 years or something, like 1 year and a half, and he learned like pretty fluent English. Like he shot calls, and the funniest part is because like he went in EU, so he has like an EU accent. So like that caught me off guard to see like a Korean speaking in English was like an EU. A lovable guy, and Aero too is improving his English, and he can. Yeah, I think we got lucky with our Koreans, but I think Reginald's statement is kind of true because communication is a big part.
Definitely. So talking about other parts of this game, I don't know if you heard it, but we had a couple interviews with Acadian that we had taped before coming into this match, and he was talking some smack about you. Actually, I think he called you overrated. He said you can only play from ahead, that you cheese people, but you're overall a bad jungler. What do you feel about? Is there an Inori Acadian rivalry? Is this something you care about at all?
I'm happy he gets a chance to play in LCS, but I think talk is just talk. Like when you play on stage is where it really matters. I don't think you need to like shit talk. You just like I want to be a player who can be more respected and inspire people to be more humble. Like that's my new approach this season because I want people. I don't want to be another toxic jungler. I think NA has a bit too many toxic junglers, so I don't want to join into that.
NA has too many toxic junglers, and Inori's going to clean up the jungle and make it great again. Inori, thank you very much. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you playing tomorrow, I believe it is. Thanks very much. Back to the analysts.
Thank you, Freak. The confidence that we've come to know and love out of Inori, but also, you know, a few humbling moments there talking about, you know, bringing in the Koreans and having to overcome that communication gap, but says that they're equipped well with the 2 that they have and their understanding of the English language so far.
Yeah, and I think it is very, very important. If you can't communicate the basics, especially in like high intensity situations, aka League of Legends team fights, then you're gonna struggle, right?
Yeah.
And I think that they at least have to have the basics and the right attitude. Like Inori's talking about, you know, his teammates coming in, they want to learn, they want to improve, and if you're working together as a squad, then having these really talented Korean players can benefit.
Yeah, and here on day 1, they even had a couple team fights that looked to be very in sync. The game-winning team fight, essentially, here that we're going to pull up. This is around the Dragon Pit, will eventually net them a Baron and all, but Ryu coming off big.
And I mean, this is a great start, right? Aero gets stunned, Aero gets hooked, and then the shockwave turns the whole fight around from Ryu. He nails it. The resets start coming out from Inori. They're able to jump around and really just turn around what should have been a bad fight for them. You know, it's not that often that your Varus gets stunned into a hook and then you win the fight,
and
right?
Yeah, lives, right? But of course, Inori with that nice flank positioning there was able to disrupt Echo Fox's team fight. Player of the game, though, going to go to Ryu for big shockwaves like that. Of course, his scoreline here, you see Deathless, so a great start to him here in the North American LCS.
Yeah, I mean, he put up big damage, he played safe, never died, and really that was the fight that kind of broke the camel's back. Echo Fox was looking good throughout the game. That shockwave turned around, got them Baron, and really got them the win.
Now, of course, this is only week 1. We've heard some big talk between these junglers. We're here to Nori say it's all about what you do on the stage. How did you feel he individually did today?
Hey, I think he did great. He had a bit of a slow start on the Rengar, but he really did shine through in the later stages of the game. He also did look solid on the Kha'Zix, but some props has to go over to Acadian. You know, his debut was not bad whatsoever. He had good starts. He really did give Froggen in game 1, especially the chances to carry the game. He wasn't able to convert, but he has a solid performance too.
I think that's the biggest thing to know. We saw that video package of him earlier in the day where he's talking about for him, he wants to come into the LCS and maintain his aggressive play style. Yeah. He did that, right? Whether they win or lose today, and loss was the result. He was aggressive. He got those early first bloods. Now it's about learning how to convert those first bloods and those early kills into victories. Now there's not much to look at, but let's go ahead and check out the standings in case you missed tonight's results. Cloud9 and Phoenix One, they're going to start the season with wins under their belt alone at the top. But the weekend is just getting started, so they won't be alone for long. Tomorrow we have 4 matches across both streams, starting with CLG versus Team Liquid on NALCS 1, followed by Envy versus newcomers FlyQuest. And over in the Battle Theater, Echo Fox will play against Immortals in the first match, followed by the return of Dignitas as they face off against Phoenix One.
Yeah, I think the Phoenix One and the Echo Fox match, these are really going to be big ones. How good is Echo Fox? And really, I think Dignitas, their first test against Phoenix One, they look good. I think Dignitas, despite what Reggie says, has a lot of potential.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, I mean, in spite of what Reginald said, I'm very excited for this team. That it's an old organization that we know and love here in the NALCS, and they're back, but with a totally different roster. We got some big ticket players on that squad, so we'll see how they perform. That is going to conclude our first day of the 2017 season, but it all starts here. So now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
So I'm going to ask you to join me in welcoming our defending champions, TSM! Gentlemen, if you would do the honor in helping us commemorate your 4th NALCS title.
And so he's up 100 over Biofrost. So the Golden, look at that contracts! He's gonna get a first blood!
Enemy fish? No, they didn't finish. They're not finished. I'm telling you,
Go. I'm okay. Venom Hunter as well. Here comes the attempt to steal. Who's it gonna be? Nice kick out. He flashes. He goes there and steals the Baron. Now the fight is on. Yes, they'll get the kill, but that is so worth it in every possible way for TSM. Now it's up for Smoother to keep them alive. Voldy's gonna tag onto 4. They caught Biofrost. Down goes the TSM support. Hook into the back line. Bjergsen's gotta be careful on this one. Pops the ulti. A little for Jensen. Redemption. Now it's 3 for him. Impact still alive in the front line. Refuses to go down. It's Cloud9. 2-0 over TSM.
Welcome to the LCS, Looper.
Huh?
Welcome. Yes.
Yes.
Because this is Acadian, the rookie, trying to make a play.
Going in, Ryu does get a great flash, but it's not enough. Still knocked up, and there's first blood for Rek'Sai. Needs to go back in, but gets himself exhausted. Keith goes down as Anori. Not able to take him down. Ryu just launches himself into the team. Arrow's going to get the shot down, and P1 looking to clean up the team fight. And P1's going to move back in, but Lupa wants back in. Arcadia moves in. Bouncy Castle triple play. Going to turn it all around.
Ash. Okay. Anivia. Rek'Sai, no flash. Oh, nice. You live. Come in. Oh my god. Hey, how'd that fight even? Good shit.
Phoenix One sweep through Echo Fox for their first game in